Okay, in today's Q&A video we're going to be talking all about lead lines. If you're not sure about that terminology, it simply means the bit after your headline, so the bit that kicks off the body of your content. And we had a question from Romy who's asking me if I had any tips or hints that, to get started on writing the body copy. And I do. Because it can be quite overwhelming when you're facing a blank page about how to kick things off. So one of the things to remember about your lead lines is that it should give sort of a general introduction about what's coming up, give people an idea of what to expect, move on logically from the headline. So if you are talking about the low cost of something in your headline, or how you can increase customers with your headline, or how you can get more organised or improve your time management, whatever the big promise is in your headline, you want to carry that through into your lead line so that there's some consistency and flow there. Now, the other good thing with lead lines to do, to make it a bit simpler to think about, is that you want to kind of concentrate on two main areas, and that is reinforcing who your target market is and reinforcing the benefit or the pain or, the number one selling point that you are talking about. So think about audience, think about benefit or pain. And that just helps you focus your concentration a bit more, makes it a little bit easier when you come to write the lead line. So I've picked 5 different ways to start, which you can play around with and should hopefully give you a springboard to getting started. First of all is you can start with a story. So for example, I don't know, if I was to open the doors to the Personality Entrepreneur Bootcamp for writing a sales page in a weekend next week, I could start off the sales page with a story. And what story? Well, it could be a story of a case study or someone who's been through it and been successful. So, for example, I could talk about Jen, who used to be a lawyer and then turned into a personal trainer and was really struggling to find her voice and write authentically and to get over the mental blocks about selling. And then I could talk about how she was able to do that. She felt a lot more confident about finding the benefits and then writing about the benefits that would connect with her customers on an emotional level. So you could start off like that with some kind of customer story or a typical story about how you have helped people with your product, how the product has helped people. So the story is one way. The second way is an announcement. You can come straight to the point. This works particularly well if you've got an event. For example, you could say, this month, join hundreds of homeowners who are descending on Dallas to find out 22 strategies to ensure that they are able to get their asking price even in a struggling economy. It's a very straightforward announcement. There's a benefit in there, but you're telling them it's sort of, here we are, this is what's happening, come on down. So it focuses on the target market, it focuses on the benefit. So an announcement, that's one way to do it. The third way we have is poking the problem. So you would open up by talking about some kind of pain or some kind of problem that they're having. If you are in the first year of your dream business, but you're waiting for the phone to ring and you're not sure how you're going to make the next month's rent, your dream business can suddenly feel like a nightmare. So what we're doing is we're just drawing attention to the problem, the pain, and this is probably something which is on your customer's mind. And also, again, notice how we are still, very much targeted to our market. So that is number 3. Number 4 is to make it newsworthy. So that is number 3. Number 4 is to make it newsworthy. If there is something relevant, topical, current, I think those all mean the same thing, that you can tie into your product, then that is one way of starting off your sales page, particularly if you want to do a more advertorial style. So something which looks less like an advert and more like an editorial piece. So you might have something, for example, that says, government legislation could see small retail businesses pay an extra £3,000 a year in employment taxes. And then you could put, is your small business prepared to take on this additional financial burden? So that is something, it doesn't look like it's selling anything, but it's going to get the attention of your ideal target market. And then you might offer an accounting service which tells them how that they can avoid this for a fraction of the cost of the £3,000 that they will be paying each year. And then the final point is you can ask a good old question. And this works particularly well if we're going down the route of really fine-tuning the target market, and it also works well for highlighting the pain or the problem. So you might have, are you sick and tired of having a monster to-do list and never getting to the end of it? Do you wish that when you came home from work that you could set everything aside and be more present with your family and not feel as stressed or as worn out or exhausted as you are today? A question is, psychologically, it engages your audience because we tend to want to finish questions, so it is a way of pulling them in. You've got to be careful though and try and make them as specific as possible to your target audience, because otherwise it can seem too much like an advert. What I mean by that is if you have questions such as, do you want to live a better life than you're living today? Do you want to see your results soar and to unlock your potential? All these kind of vague stuff and phrases which we have learnt to ignore from adverts. You want to avoid that, make it nice and specific to your audience. It doesn't have to be hyped up, but a question is a good way of kicking it off. Even if it just gives you a starting point and then you come back and you change into a slightly different beginning. Couple of things to remember. Next Tuesday is the webinar about discovering your unique business story. So if you've ever struggled with putting down in copy what makes you so different to other businesses, I think you're really, really going to enjoy it. Also on Monday, the doors open for the Sales Page in a Weekend Bootcamp for personality entrepreneurs. Find out how to access the free webinar and to get notification of when doors exactly open. You want to be registered on the newsletter over there. So put your name and your email address in and you will get all the details, as well as getting the weekly Fast Copy Friday newsletter, which is very popular. People love it. You should be on it. I will see you soon. Have a superb weekend. Bye-bye.